welcome to the Confident Healer podcast. I'm your hostess, Sharmila Mali, and in addition to podcasting, I also help healers find their unique healing gifts through my Confident Healer 9-month Reiki training program. Why listen to the Confident Healer podcast, you ask? Because it sucks not knowing your place in the world, and I'm here to remind you that you're not alone in your struggles. In this podcast, you'll hear from me and other healers as we talk about how we overcame our personal challenges and became confident as we answer the calling to be a healer. I would really appreciate it if you would help me grow the show. You can do two things. You can tell somebody about the show, and you can become a patron by making a monthly donation or a generous one-time donation. When you tell others about the podcast and donate, you're letting me know that you support me and that you love what I'm doing. You can find the PayPal link on theconfidenthealer.net and in every show note. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get on with the show. Welcome to the Confident Healer. I'm your hostess, Sharmila Mali, and today we have a remarkable woman. When I met her, I think it was like last month at the psychic fair. She was visiting a friend. We have a mutual friend in common, and she was talking about her story, and I just thought, God, this is incredible. So here she is. Let me introduce you to her first. So my guest today is a COVID survivor. She was hospitalized with severe acute COVID pneumonia on October 2020, and miraculously, she survived after almost 1 month in the hospital. She has shared her long hauler journey on her YouTube channel, Meet Tina, right after she was discharged from the hospital, not knowing if she would heal or survive. She felt compassion to many of those who went into the ER, so she intuitively felt that her videos would help other people going through the same thing. And now, 19 months later, she's recovered, and she continues using her YouTube channel to talk about health, wellness, and self-development. So with a big warm hug, let's welcome to the Confident Healer, Tina Saley.
Hello, thank you. And virtual hug to you and to everyone who's listening. Thank you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were there filming for your YouTube channel, Meet Tina, and you talked a little bit about your story. And what was also fascinating was that you were there visiting, filming and interviewing David, the co-owner of Starborn Wellness Center.
I just went blank.
Yeah, I just went blank for a second.
Sometimes that happened. At the end of the day, 5 p.m. here. Totally get it. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Starborn Wellness, and he was a student of yours for many years. So before we get into your COVID journey, because I feel like that really helped you, what you did in the past really helped you get through that COVID. So tell us what you used to do.
Absolutely. I used to, and I still am, hypnotherapist as well as a spiritual healing teacher. Anything that has to do with esoteric, metaphysical, intuitive development, self-development, all that stuff. I did have my meetup back in 2010, and I used to teach, out of my home, and I used to have a lot of students coming over back in Silmar, California. And I think fast forward to 2015, I taught until 2016. That's when I got divorced and moved, and I just kind of totally changed everything in my life. Yes.
Right.
And until I got COVID, yes.
Right. And then but you still do massage, a type of massage.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting because my journey took me into the journey of being a spiritual teacher, teaching students in intuitive development and also energy healing.
Right.
And also as a hypnotherapist as well, helping people with their mind, their emotion. And when I got divorced back in 2015, I don't know why I just decided, because I have to start all over again, because it's like an hour away from where I used to, because I moved. Something guided me to get into neuromuscular therapy, which is like massage pain management work. So it's kind of interesting that I went through the process of healing my clients, their body, their mind, their soul. And this is why you see my background here, my body and soul from my YouTube channel. And
Yeah.
what got to me when I got my COVID pneumonia very bad in October 2020. That's like early on with the Delta COVID that I got. I almost died, as I share with you. And it was a very difficult, challenging healing process for me for up until 19 months. I was a long hauler. And starting beginning of this year, Shamil, I thought to myself, oh, well, I didn't have much to talk about COVID anymore because I feel like I'm healed. But then something inside me just kind of like pushed me to do YouTube, continue doing that. And I asked myself, what? And this is coming from what I used to do. I rely a lot on my intuition.
Mm-hmm.
I always taught my students to like trust your intuition. And during this healing process with YouTube, I had a lot of me time, a lot of time to do a lot of meditation and reflection and healing myself, a lot of time to slow down, definitely reflection and really connect to my inner self a lot more, because the lifestyle we have is just so fast and so stressful for a lot of people. But I was more stressed with my body,
Right.
with my lungs and my heart, not knowing if I was going to survive or back to normal. But then when like I told you, when I saw so many people going to the hospital, I just kind of felt compassion. I felt like, I don't know why, I just felt like I should just put camera in front of me and record myself. And if my healing journey becomes successful, whoever's behind me I can help them with my videos. The reason was that when I got out of the hospital, I was trying to find information about how to heal myself with COVID.
Right.
I found nothing back then.
Right.
And all the doctors and specialists, lung specialists and ID doctor would tell me like, this is so new to them. They didn't know how to help me. So imagine you felt horrible and you heard that. I mean, they tried their best anyway, but they're being honest that they didn't
Right.
know how.
Right.
And back in 2020, during that time, there was not much information on the internet at all on YouTube. So that was the reason why I decided to do what I did. Just follow my intuition.
Yeah.
And I just put camera in front of me, and I just kind of felt connected to some of my followers, who they were in the hospital, and they post a comment saying, Tina, thank you for encouragement. Thank you for, sharing your story, because, they feel like they're not alone. And it just made me feel good that I can contribute, information to help them move forward, to encourage them, to make them feel positive, because that's what's important too. Through my teaching, feeling positive is very, very important. So when we go through a tough time with our body, emotion, and the mind, it's kind of hard to kind of boost yourself back up.
Yeah.
Because the most important thing is to cap this positive energy. And I understood that. But I'll be honest with you, the first 6 months, I was kind of like depressed because I never been this sick in my life.
Right.
However,
and it's scary. It's scary
yes,
too,
because
it's new.
I wasn't able to breathe. This is someone who used to be so healthy, used to do CrossFit 5 days a week, to like, I told everybody I felt like mid-30. I'm 59 right now. I felt like
Wow.
mid-30 before COVID, and I felt like 150 after COVID.
Wow.
And nobody lived beyond 100, right?
Right.
Imagine. That's how I felt.
Wow.
And I was kind of being sarcastic and jokingly about that too, just to make myself laugh. But I had hope. That's the thing. So I psyched myself. I saw myself. I use hypnosis on myself. And again, that's through my work. Everything
Right.
through my work. I bring it back, use it on myself. I put positive affirmation every day. I visualize and see myself getting back into that weightlifting again and CrossFit again. I saw myself feeling happy, even though at the moment I wasn't feeling it. But I would just put that visualization in my head, and that words, it's like, I'm back again, I'm healthy again. But boy, that was a lot of affirmation, a lot of shifting my perception.
Right. And you were by yourself. Were you living with anybody? Or?
I live with my elder aunt, who is 70
Okay.
years old. Yeah. In the beginning, she had to cook and put in front of my room, because I wasn't able to do anything.
Right. And did you
I'm
have to
70 years old.
isolate?
Yeah, I isolate myself for like 3 months because it took 3 months to get the negative test.
Oh
So
my
imagine a
gosh.
70 years old lady, woman, having to like get stuff out of the car for me, having to carry stuff for me. That was horrible.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was my story about how my background that I used to do this kind of work that has to do with, helping people with their body and mind, their soul. I'm able to bring it back. And, I begin to get massage because I got a lot of information in my body too. So that also helps.
Right. So
Yeah.
what I watched some of your videos when you were documenting your process after you got out of the hospital, and your biggest thing was you couldn't, it was so hard for you to breathe, and
Yes.
and the breath is essential to our life. So what is that process? I mean, you said you were pretty depressed for the first six
Oh,
months coming out of the hospital. So
absolutely.
how did you find that strength to remember, oh, like, oh yeah, I used to do hypnosis. Oh, maybe I can conjure up some hypnosis for myself to create a good outcome. Because if you can't breathe, I would imagine that's very stressful. That probably gives you a lot of
Well,
anxiousness.
Shamila,
Yeah.
what happened was that when did a lot of reflection, I saw myself being like that. I didn't like how I was. And I said, I gave up and being like this for the rest of my life, or I just decide to gather my strength, take charge, and do everything I could do to get better. And I told myself, I'm going to fight no matter what, you know, and I'm not going to live my life without trying hard enough. So I did a lot of research on nutrition. I did a
Mm.
lot of research on like how to get rid of inflammation because I got a lot of information. I gained so much weight from steroids and all antibiotics. Like a couple months after I was discharged, I gained like 50 pounds.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I started to do intermittent. I started to skip sugar. I was serious about doing what I did. Um, so that was one of the reasons. It's like I asked myself a question, Tina, do you want to be like this? You want to be in this condition for the rest of your life? I said, no, absolutely no way. There's no quality in life to live your life in like that. And I asked myself a question, will I be able to get back to where I was before? Well, my answer is just like, I have no idea. But you know what? I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for myself. And how I'm gonna fight for myself is not to like feel sorry for myself or feel depressed. Luckily, because of my background, in
Hmm.
teaching and doing this, I, like I said, visualization was a big thing. Hypnotherapy was a big thing that I used on myself, you know. And what I do, I find distraction. Instead of being in the bed or I just try to go out and walk in nature, trying to find something that make me feel joyful. What is it that makes Tina feel joyful? And doing the video was actually make me
Oh
joyful. I have to
yeah.
say that I never thought I would enjoy doing a YouTube video, but it was COVID pneumonia that got me to do it, and I started to communicate with all followers, and I just felt so good that I can help them. And while editing video and doing this, I mean, I started to have fun. It's like playing with myself. It's just kind of fun. So I think that was kind of help finding distraction to do something fun. And every day I would tell myself, do something for Tina, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally.
Nice.
So
Wow.
I would like talk to God or whatever, both me, like, hey, you know what, help me heal with this. And what do I need to do? Whatever is my destiny, my journey to do to contribute to the world, I'll do it, because, I mean, life is so short anyway. I'm not going to have so much time to be on this earth for too long,
Right.
So I figure I'll do something that I enjoy and help other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that
Wow.
was one of the several little things that I decide to do that and help me find distraction to do a lot of fun things on a daily basis and connection with friends and family. I realize those are more important. And we tend to get so caught up with work and everything. So I reconnect with my brothers, my family, and my friends, old friends, reconnecting with them, and it just feels so absolutely amazing.
Did you see them in person, or was it just over Zoom or like?
In the beginning, it was text and phone.
Mm,
And then when I started to get better and the COVID started to become more relaxed, yes, I decided to get together with lunch, dinner, or
right.
walk, or finally, eventually took a few trips with them.
So
And the more joy that I feel in, the more fun I have. It just made me feel happier.
mm,
And I think with all this feeling of positive, feeling happy, it's a big boost in healing, big time.
yeah,
Big time,
absolutely.
because I caught myself in the beginning just so worried, and every little tiny thing that I felt, I freaked out, and I would just like run to the hospital or to the doctor. And I noticed a lot of long haulers are like that. Like we can't help it because we didn't feel normal,
Right.
and
What
I
was
realized that I got caught up into that habit, and I
mm,
did not want, knowing hypnotherapy, I would not want to create that habit of not healthy habit.
right.
So I began to reverse it before it got too late. Yeah.
So what are the long haul COVID symptoms that you experienced?
Pretty much everything that everybody had. Okay.
Fatigue.
Fatigue is a big thing. Not able to take a deep breath. I had shallow breathing most of the time. Heart palpitation was quite often. Stomach problem, gut bloating. I even have like UTI symptom, chronic. It's been 2 years now, but it's getting better now, except that it's still there and my stomach still there. I never have all those problems before, but
Right.
because I believe it's all those medication that saved my life, it sat in my bladder in my stomach for a long time
Mm.
before the nurses would be able to help me out, because I wasn't able to walk or move or get out of the bed.
Were
That's
you
how horrible.
were you intubated or were you on a ventilator?
Almost, because they were making decision to intubate me. The ID doctor and the lung specialist, they talked to my brother about that. Luckily, my brother's a doctor, so he was in a constant communication with those doctors in ER, and they gave me one plasma already. So my brother, asked them, hey, you know what, can we request for a second one? Which it was kind of hard for them to make that decision because that wasn't enough at a time.
Right.
And then my brother said, what's the difference, intubating her and having plasma? Because, the ID doctor said it's quite dangerous to give me a second plasma. And my brother said, if we intubate her, she got 50-50 as well. My brother's an ER doctor, so he realized that. So I think that was one of the blessing
Wow.
part of my life, that I have a brother who's a doctor who just like making sure that things were going right for me when I was in this situation. So thanks to him for that, because if I were intubated, I'm not sure if I would make it. But I think one of the things too that's helped save my life is my workout. As a CrossFitter, I used to work out quite a bit regularly. So I think it strengthened my lungs and my heart. So if
Hmm.
it wasn't strong, I probably would have been gone already. And
Mm.
maybe God didn't want me yet.
Right.
I did mention that. Maybe it's not my time. And
Right,
there's a
right.
reason why I continue, being alive. Maybe just sharing my YouTube channel, meet Tina on youtube.com. So yeah, that's what happened. Almost they almost that close to intubate me because I
Wow.
wasn't able to breathe on my own. Yep.
And then, there was a video of you going back to CrossFit, or at least going back to the gym. So how many months was that
Oh
after?
my God. I mean, I tried to go back a year after, but it reverted back. I didn't feel well. And then I think up to the 16 months, I still went back to the gym trying to do like very light weights and only half an hour and 3 times, 4 times a week. And still it was feeling okay at the time, but then my lung will feel so exhausted
Hmm.
the rest of the day. And that's not normal.
Right.
And I would have to like take a deep breath. It's like after I worked out, and I didn't do intense workout. And there's no cardio, just weight and very lightweight. So I stopped. But then at the beginning of the year, I decided to get the wellness IV. I decided to do acupuncture and massage regularly, and just kind of stay positive. I travel, but I think the wellness IV helped a lot too, because because I took a lot of antibiotics, different types since the beginning of COVID.
Right.
And then when I have this UTI symptom, which is, there's not UTI bacteria, but it has a symptom of that.
Mm-hmm.
They were giving me antibiotics as well. So
Oh,
imagine
yeah.
every 2 months for 2 years. So what happened is wiped out all the good bacteria in my
Right.
stomach and in my bladder wall. That was explained by a urologist. So that would make sense why I lack a lot of nutrients. So I got the reports. That's not from the doctor, because that's different. I got the special report from Groupon's, and it tells me, like, my gut biome and the kind of food that I would be sensitive to, which I wasn't paying attention on that before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
because my stomach was strong.
Right.
I ate everything. I
Right.
got tons of ice cream in my fridge. Not anymore. Not anymore. Uh, I begin to take better care of myself. Actually, with the COVID, it got a lot of positive outcome, a consequence into my whole well-being.
Wow.
I'm more conscious of what I eat. I skip sugar. I try not to eat processed food. I cut quite a bit. I went back to CrossFit because I started to feel better these past 3 months. And since I started doing wellness IV to put more nutrients into my body, and vitamins and minerals, because I started to understand that, hey, the antibiotics is the one that wipes out everything. That's why.
Right. Right.
Plus, I got the report to check on my minerals, and it shows that I was deficient quite a bit. And that's why I felt tired and fatigued. So, just want to let people who got COVID and went through all this, your body probably lack a lot of nutrition and a lot of vitamins. Even though we thought we ate good, we ate well, but a lot of foods don't have enough nutrition because the soils also lack good nutrition as well. So, but I got a lot of tablets, vitamin before, but I don't think that absorbed well because I took it for over a year, and I felt a little better, but still not completely better until I got the wellness IV.
Okay.
That makes a huge difference.
And where do you get that? Is that so? You do that? You still do that
You
3
can go
times
to
a week?
anywhere. There's a lot of places that offer that. Med Spa offer that. You can go to like Groupon. You see a lot of people. You look up wellness IV, and you see Groupon offer a lot from different locations. So it doesn't matter where you're at in any state. You can look it up. A lot of people offer it. So go anywhere, you'll find. So this is not like one place that offer. A lot offer.
And how did you know to do something like that? Was that recommended to you, or you just
Well, I saw a client of mine who's also become a friend of mine, because we actually went to the hospital by the same time with COVID, and she's starting to get this IV, and a year after, she seemed to be she looks a lot healthier, and then when after a year and a half, I still wasn't back to normal yet. With my workout, I was kind of concerned, like, oh God, when the heck I can go back and work out like I used to, even though I felt better, but not until when I worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, oh God, it costs a lot of money, but I realized, you know what, money is not important, because, when you're sick, you cannot spend anyway, right? You cannot work. So I decided to go ahead and get it. And once I got it, after like 10 sessions, I felt different, absolutely different. And then I, went to CrossFit where I used to go. And I did about 2 days. And that day I worked as well. And I didn't feel that exhaustion in my lungs.
Wow.
I didn't feel like I had to take, and I'm like, oh my God, this is heaven. And this has been 3 weeks now. And I've been going to CrossFit like, 3 times a week now.
Wow.
So I'm happy.
Are you at your doing what you did before, or
not
as
before? No, I'm still. It's better than the gym,
right?
Because it's a mixed cardio and weight training, strength training, but definitely heavier than what I did before.
Well, that's amazing.
Wow. Definitely, and a lot faster. And I felt better. I felt like a little bit stronger. But it's, when you go back, I haven't worked out for almost 2 years, really, consistently. So sort of I have to build back up, but I'm happy. I'm happy that I can get a very good workout and feel good afterward, and not having to feel like I cannot breathe, or my lung would be exhausted all day long. That's not good. Yeah. So I feel so happy about the whole process. And I just wanted to like give a lot of people encouragement here. If you're still going through what I'm going through, do not give up. You know, because it's gonna help. It's gonna heal. Your body's just gonna take time. It is a lot of time, but make sure what kind of food you eat. Make sure you go walk and do some workout. Make sure you visualize yourself getting back better, and make sure that you just really have to switch your thought, your mind, your feeling, not going into like a dark place.
Right.
Because we get in habit of doing that. And when you don't feel well, the whole body, your cells and everything is not going to feel well.
So I know it, you know, visualization, especially when you do hypnotherapy, it's always dynamic because it's different for each person and their issue that they're dealing with. So for you, what was your visualization process? Like, how did you visualize yourself? Was it like
Well,
doing CrossFit or?
it's for me, it's easy because I always often it works for me, right?
Right,
Because this is my work too,
right.
and I would visualize myself back to where I was the most healthiest period,
Mm.
and I saw myself, Tina self, when very strong and just pumped those weight and just, you know, ran and jump ropes and burpees and, you know, wall ball and then, you know, do snatch and, you know, do jerk,
These
all
are
those
these are all CrossFit terms, right?
CrossFit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do, I'm
Okay.
sorry. So we do all those movements and I felt good afterwards. So I visualized myself being there and it felt so real and I felt good. And I said, yes, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm getting there.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I visualize myself just feeling happy and heal better. I see myself heal, my face looks better, things like that. You know, that's what I do. I kept seeing that and feel good about it. And I know, and it's just like knowing I'm going to get there. So that's how I did it. Went
Wow.
back to the period where I was the happiest, that I did all the fun stuff and then travel. That's what I did.
Wow.
Yeah. So for me, it was kind of easy already because that's my
Right.
area. That's my
Right.
corner.
Right, right. And you know, one of the other things that you had talked about was sleeping prone. So
Oh,
how
yes.
many months did you sleep prone, meaning on your stomach?
Up to 6 to 8 months, you know, and I would highly encourage everyone if you have this long hauler experience, you still have a problem sleep, I mean, breathing. Um, Definitely try to sleep on prone. And if you can't do at night, what I do is, you know, I wasn't able to work anyway. So I was laying on prone all day long and I count the hours of the proning position. So I
Wow.
make sure I get at least 20 hours.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
It is a lot in the beginning, especially, you know, when I was, you know,
Well,
coming from not able to breathe before,
right.
I would lay, and I bought prone pillow. So I would
Mm.
just lay, you know, on my stomach when I watch TV during the day. So I spend most of the day on prone position, even when I eat.
Wow.
And nighttime, I try to do prone. Sometimes it's hard, then I'll do sideline. But make sure you don't sleep on your back because every time I sleep on my back, I felt very heavy because your lungs is in the back.
Mm.
Okay. So that's why prone is very important. It's open up your lungs and it keeps your oxygen saturation high. And that is a fact because I tested. I did that. I'm not going to go into detail because that's going
Right.
to take a lot longer, but I have tested already. And
Right.
when I didn't do prone, my oxygen would just start dropping.
I know, and you had a bunch of you had the thing that takes
Oh,
your
yeah.
yeah, that
Pulse oximeter, you know, that I will tell everyone to get it. And even if you don't have COVID, get one for yourself from Amazon.com because what happened is this item is like so inexpensive, like $20, but it can be a lifesaver because if you have COVID symptom and you can't breathe or you have a hard time breathing, just put that little tool into your fingers and make sure that your oxygen is above 95. If it goes below 95, something's not right. You better keep
mm,
checking and make sure you contact your doctor. You
wow.
know, and if it goes below 90, you're in deep shit. I'm sorry.
Right. That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not
Wow.
you're not doing well. You definitely got some pneumonia, some problems, some COVID. Yeah. And if I would have had that, I probably wouldn't be in a bad situation. But back then, you know, we didn't know. That was not a something that anyone knew about pulse oximeter because it was just so still new. By the time the the ambulance picked me up, my oxygen was like 85.
Wow. And so
Yeah,
what does that look like? It's like are you gasping for
low.
breath at that
I
point?
was not able to talk. I was
Oh,
not able to move, and everything becomes slow motion, and my heartbeat just go up faster and
right.
faster. I wasn't able to move. I just froze. And that's why it's very dangerous to be alone or self-isolated when you have your oxygen that low. But they told people to isolate
Right.
themselves that because they didn't know it can be dangerous. Because once you get to that point, your oxygen is very low. You cannot even make a phone call or talk because every single tiny movement took a lot of energy or oxygen, and your heartbeat will go up. As your
Hmm.
oxygen go down, your heartbeat just go. And this is why there's so many code blue in the hospital with COVID because of that.
Mm,
It just rapidly going fast, and they could not move. Everything just went frozen.
right. Because
And a
that's
tiny
your
movement, that's
heart,
it.
right? Is it because the heart is because you feel panicky because you can't breathe, so that increases your heart rate,
Well,
which
not only that, it's automatically
it's
just,
it just
cause a lot of, it tax your heart when
mm,
you're lack of oxygen because you're trying to breathe. So your heart's trying to like rise up. It was scary experience though. I mean, I felt compassion for those who has gone through and who didn't make it. Wasn't an easy way to go.
no. Oh my gosh.
Wasn't because I
Yeah.
didn't go as far as some people did, but boy, to be in that place, it was freaking scary. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
very, very.
That's why I just found it so remarkable. And then when, knowing, all the things that you used to teach, all the spiritual teachings, all the mind body connection teachings, the energy healing, and all that,
Oh,
just really all kind of, it just all
let me
helped
share with
you.
you something.
Yes. Yes.
Because of
Share.
this, my body experience, when I was in the hospital, my oxygen was low. I panicked, and guess what I did? Meditation breath.
Oh, which one? The Ujjayi, the,
I just did mantra that I grew up
mm,
with, is one word. I just go very slow breathing because I was not able, it's the only breath that I could do was very shallow breath. There's no way I could take a deep breath. So you just take a little tiny breath and you cannot go anymore. That was suffering. So I would like slow down and I just go into my meditation. And that helped me with the shallow breathing.
mm,
That helped me kind of stay in that condition and not panic. So yes, with my background of doing meditation, it actually saved me too in the hospital because I slowed down.
right.
So like
Amazing.
because you mentioned about panic earlier, that's kind of make me I realized what I did was meditation and when I was in bed when I wasn't able to breathe.
Mm,
And by slowing down through meditation breath, huge difference, Shamila. Yeah.
wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Even in that state, when you can't get your breath, just finding a way to find stillness and some sort of peace and using the air that you have to breathe, that
Yeah.
helps. Wow.
Yeah, that definitely. So you get into a panic mode. The only way is meditation that kind of slow you down. So that was the thing. I mean, I was panicked, but then it just snapped. Something just go do meditation breath. So thank God to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how do you know that you don't have the long haul symptoms anymore? Like, are they less, are you like 100% back?
Well,
Like, do you get
since beginning of
diagnosed
this year,
that?
because I didn't feel well, I got my lungs, X-ray. Everything seemed to be okay. And when I did CrossFit in the past 3 weeks, everything seemed to be okay. And since beginning of this year, everything seemed to be okay. The only thing I have is just like some stomach issue because after 8 months after I was discharged, my tummy was acting up very abnormal. I have a lot of bloating. I have a lot of constipation. I never had
Mm,
all those before, and they found out a lot of problem in my gallbladder. So I have that removed.
really?
That's probably like
Oh,
coming from all those chemicals,
yeah.
medication. Yeah.
Wow.
So now my tummy is very, very sensitive. and so I have to learn to eat something that's eat less and also eat less fat and no sugar and try not to eat processed food. So in a way, it's kind of put me into a better eating habit,
Right. Yeah.
even though I have to lose part of my body.
Oh my God.
And
So you had an operation post COVID.
yes, 8 months
Wow.
after,
Wow.
yeah. But I had an MRI just last week and in my stomach, and everything seems to be normal. Um, yeah, so I'm glad to find, because we don't know what's long term is going to be for this COVID. We have no idea. But I think, our body can heal ourselves, and so if I stay in a positive mode and then just work out, continue to work out, because, when you work out, your body also create new hormones, which
Hmm.
repair cells. Also meditate, also keep your mind positive. It makes a big difference too. And do things I love, like, luckily I'm blessed that I do the kind of work that I enjoy. And then now I started to like have my YouTube channel about self-development, which I connect with people. I interview, like you interview
Right.
different people in healing, in body and mind and soul, kind of work to help people. I enjoy that. I enjoy interaction with people, making new friends, and be able to help the listeners, help themselves through all these different people who are good at what they do. I enjoy doing that. So I figure, the latter part of my life, I like to do things that I can contribute to the society for to better themselves in
Yeah.
their mind, body, and their soul, everything. Because right
Yeah.
now, everything just so messed up, energetically.
Hmm.
And we can see that with all the inflation, with all COVID, with all this problem. A lot of people are in a very unstable situation. And if they can hear something that can actually wake them up and go, hey, you know what? This is not the end of the world. It can get worse, and there's still hope there. Things can change for the better. Life is always a constant change.
Right.
So if we're going through a difficult time right now, don't focus on just the bad. Just know that it's gonna change. Even though it seems like forever, it is gonna change. And that's the way I see myself and tell myself when I was going through this journey of healing. I saw myself healed, I saw myself better. Yeah, and it did help because your
It's,
mind is very important.
yeah. It's
If
very
you put your
powerful.
mind in a very negative mode all the time, you actually telling yourself, and you create that habit of being negative constantly. And feeling negative is not healthy, so it drags everything down.
Hmm.
Yeah. So definitely this is something that people always have to keep in mind, to really watch what they're thinking, really, and also take care of all aspects themselves. Take care of your body. Go for a walk if you don't like going to the gym, or do something that's move your physical body. If you're heavy and you can't breathe, or lose the weight, and that's what I did. I did the intermittent fasting. Nourish your mind and your emotion. Do every day, do something for yourself. So what
Yeah.
I did, Shamila, every morning I wake up at 4. First thing I did for myself is I would do some prayer. I would look at something that's positive,
Hmm.
and I would just like talk to my spirit guides and, God, angel, whatever's above, to just, guide me. And then after that, I would go to CrossFit and work out. So see, I do things for my body, my mind, my soul. That's the first thing that I took care of myself. And the rest of the day, I can work on my clients and help other people.
Yeah.
You come
Right.
first, me come first.
Right. Right.
But people do it differently. People get up and it's time to like take care of everybody else. You need to take care of yourself first. And always remember, take care of yourself, body, mind, and soul. Not just go to the gym and just think about things that's, put you in a negative mood, or worry about things. Just think things gonna get better. Visualize yourself,
Right.
see yourself happy, in a better health, better emotion, whatever it is that you're struggling with. Even though you don't feel like at the moment, but by doing so, it's just like a battery that charge you and will change your perception eventually.
That's
Because
so
we are so,
important. Yeah.
why? Because we're so used to creating this bad habit of negative thinking, or being lazy, and and but I always do that. This is my me time. My me Tina time is work out, pray, meditate a little bit for myself first, and after that, The rest of the day I can do things, give to other people.
Yeah, that's why I mean, you've got it right behind you, the mind, body, and soul. That's what we as
And it's
spiritual.
funny because when I got this
Mhm.
background, I didn't think about it. I
Oh,
just,
really?
so, yeah, it just
Yeah.
came to me. I just saw it. I never seen it. I was taking a class and I saw it. I go, okay, I'll use that for the class. Really, I was using it for the class. Next thing you know, when I started doing YouTube, right after, I'm like, oh, this will be perfect.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
because it's holistic, right? Just like you're
And it
saying.
reminds me
Yeah.
when I see that word all the time, body, mind, soul,
Right.
because it's not just about taking care of your body only or taking care of your mind only. We just kind of like, because it creates imbalance.
Right.
And we are multidimensional being. We're make up all this. So we need
Right.
to balance everything.
Have
Yeah.
that synergy. Yeah, because they
Exactly.
all feed on each other. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
that's just such a quite a story. I've seen other, just like on 60 Minutes or people talking about long haulers, and you don't see people recovering. You just see people suffering and like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what my life was like before and I can't do this. And so how long until you started working again? So you're working with people.
I didn't work for a year. I didn't work for a year. And after that, when I started working the first 6 months, I would work only one client a day.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah. That's
something.
it. That's it. And I cut down the time too. And, I wasn't worried about anything else but myself. Like
Right,
I said,
recovering.
I have to
Yeah.
take care of myself first. But in a way, it kind of helped with my work because it's kind of helped me gauge of where I'm at physically.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I wasn't able to work that much and I just felt exhausted. But then every month, I started to add one client at a time per day. And then it got to the point where I fill up my whole day now and I feel fine. And this is when I can tell too that I'm better. I'm
Wow.
back to normal.
So are you seeing the same amount of clients you were pre?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Blessing to that because I was kind of concerned too, not able to work for like, I would say almost a year and a half. Um, some of my clients, many clients coming back and I get a lot of referral. So that's a blessing,
Yeah.
upstairs blessing that's sending me
Yes.
all these clients that I just never have to spend my energy on that, trying to market or trying to bring client in. And I'm able to have my fun time with this new hobby with this
Yes.
YouTube channel. And guess what?
What?
Yesterday, I got email from YouTube that I am qualified to be YouTube partner
Oh,
because
wonderful.
I have, thanks to everyone, I have reached over 1,000 subscriber and over 4,000 watch time. So
Nice.
that's their two basic requirements that you need to meet. I thought it was going to take me over a year to reach this point, but it's only took 4 months since I start interviewing,
Oh, wow.
different profession. Yeah.
Right.
Because when I did COVID, it was not consistent. I just when I feel like it, when it's like the right time. But when I felt better and I was not gonna do beginning of the year, I was not gonna do any more YouTube because I go, okay, well, I feel like I'm healed. I don't have anything to share with COVID.
Right.
But then something inside me just kind of telling me like, okay, well, you're not done yet.
You're
Then
right.
I went to the Conscious Life Expo in February this year. And I don't know why I just went because I just feel like, okay, well, we have been under lockdown for so long. I need to get out and mingle with people and things that I enjoy, which is, spirituality and esoteric. And I just went and I went into this workshop. And yeah, I just thought, okay, I'm just gonna go in there. I don't know if that's interesting to me. Then I listened to this lady, Jennifer, and she got great personality and I enjoy her talks and something just telling me in my head, like ask her for an interview. I
Wow.
did. About what's so funny is I scheduled her on February 22nd, 2022. I didn't even think about that
Oh,
is a
right.
special number. I didn't
Right.
didn't come to me at that time. However, it didn't work out with her. Then I asked another lady with the same topic to interview on that day. And after the interview was over, like a couple weeks later on, I realized, wait a minute. I had interviewed a lady first time on February 22nd, 2022. So that is a special number,
Right.
magical number, So I was like, wow. So I was totally guided by divine or universe,
Mhm.
because I wasn't planning, but something telling me that I still cannot finish doing the video yet. When I got that light bulb that said, ask her for an interview, it felt good. And it just came to me like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird, Kim's. And ever since then, I've been interviewing several people. I never run short of, interviewing my guests. And I've been having a lot of fun. And 4 months only, I just got approved by YouTube. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, what's next?
That's awesome. Yay. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's
So I'm
incredible.
excited about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Interviewing people, doing this is so much fun. I
It
completely
is.
relate to
You
that.
connect with different people.
Mhm.
It's like a family, it's friends, and you actually get to exchange energy and
Yeah,
information. You feel
exactly.
all the love. You feel all. Sometimes it can be, you may have a long day, but when you get to talk to someone, and it can be empowerment,
Yeah, it's very
or just like
empowering.
people who listen to us or to any YouTube channel, they can get inspired. They can feel empowered.
Yes,
Certain
exactly.
messages come through them. Yeah.
That's why we do it. For
Exactly,
all those
exactly.
reasons. Well, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You gave so many great, incredible life lessons and tips to not only get through COVID, but any type of illness, because you really need that balance of fueling your inner self, to motivate yourself to
Absolutely.
find some sort of wellness, no matter how sick you are, and to find your way out of that darkness. So thank you so much. And like, it's just that I like I said, it was just, I was so blown away by your story, and just talking to you, and just hearing all the things that you went through and everything that you had to do to overcome it.
It was
I'm
a
so glad
lot.
you're here. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it was a
glad.
lot. It's like you just have to be proactive. You just
Yes.
have to fight for your health. You have to fight to be better, you know? And that's what I did. I was proactive. I just took charge. It's like
Yeah.
it's very hard to make appointment with doctors, and I would just make sure that I'm being consistent, just everything. And I would just did a lot of research, like, okay, look at my body's nutrition, look at my nutrition, look at my weight, look at my mind, look at my emotion, look at my every aspect, everything to heal, you know. So I would recommend everyone to do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially those who never work out, it's hard to start. Just go walk, force yourself to do that. Your health is so important. Your
Yeah.
body is your temple. If your
Exactly.
body doesn't feel well, it's going to affect your mind and your emotion as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have many ways to get in touch with you. So you can go straight to her YouTube channel
Right.
through www.meettina on youtube.com. And that'll take you straight to her YouTube channel, Meet Tina. You can, she has a website, meet-tina.com. She's on Instagram, Tina, TikTok
TikTok
time.
time. I don't know why I named that.
Because I was like, oh, is that TikTok?
I
And
know.
and
Everything's
she's
like,
and she's also on Facebook, Tina Saley. So all this will be in the show notes, how you can watch her, get in touch with her if you have any questions about COVID, or need some hypnotherapy to help you get through COVID, or any type of or any ailment, or whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual. That's how you can contact her. This will all be in the show notes.
yeah.
Thank you,
Well,
Tina,
come to
for
my YouTube. There's a
yes,
lot of
lots of
guests, people I interview, and they are amazing. And you will get so inspired by listening to them, including you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was recently on there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Tina, for being here with us. Let's give you a big hug goodbye.
Hugs, everyone. Thank you
Yes,
so much for listening, and thank you for your support. And thank
yeah,
you for the interview.
yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing, and thank you all for listening. This is Sharmila Mali. Everything will be in the show notes. This is the Confident Healer podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. You can find information about the guest or any links I referenced in the show notes. And would you help me grow the show by doing these two things? One, sharing the podcast with someone that you think needs to hear it. And two, supporting the podcast by becoming a patron and giving monthly, or make a one-time generous donation. It helps me grow the show and I can just focus on making great episodes for you. You can listen, find the show notes, and the PayPal link to donate all in one convenient location, theconfidenthealer.net. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week.